What's up, people? Yeah, 6-6. Season's over with. Did not
Thank
see
God.
did not see us going out like that. Um man, you know what? This is really hard to digest. Really have a lot of questions. Jason, Chris Mason, we are all here together. Hornsdale Podcast, Hall of Fame College Football Podcast, Sooners 360. All the links, all the X handles and all the rest of that stuff is in the bio. So people, please read the bio, read all that stuff, like, subscribe, do all those different things. I'm gonna pass this off to Jason because I'm still trying to really gather myself and figure out where did this game go wrong, but also just why. Why did this season have to be like this?
Well, it was the offense. And before we start, I'll just say this. Don't nobody try to tell me that Kevin Johns wasn't responsible for last week's game plan, because it was nothing like the game plan that we saw put out there on the field tonight. I think that it's just a microcosm of the entire season. If you take a look at the whole thing, the fact is they just didn't have a plan. They just did not have a plan on the offensive side of the ball that lacked all of it. It lacked any kind of coherent way of doing things. It's just that bad. Listen, it is what it is. You get carved up. Trojan Fighting come in here running his mouth. Yeah, you guys got beat pretty good to yourself today there. Got boogered up. So keep talking. But I'll just say this, if you don't have an offense, it makes it tough on your defense, man. No two ways around it. You give up a kick return that, you take the lead there. It looks like you got some momentum. You give up a 100-yard kick return right away. It is what it is. Once that happens and the momentum flips again, then your defense is back on the field, and you're starting to do the same thing that we had to see the entire season, is that these guys are completely trying to make up for the ineffectiveness of this offensive system.
Well, we can't fall. We can't fall behind, really, right? Can't fall behind by a touchdown because then we have no counter. We knew. Chris and I talked on Tuesday night. It's been a long week. Been a long week, and I knew that LSU was going to sell out on the run. Right? We needed a passing game to win this game. Right? We were going to need an effective passing game from somebody, somehow, some way. Scratch out a passing game to keep in this football game. We're not good on the road. Our defense isn't playing great on the road. It didn't play. I mean, the points here do the defense a little bit of disservice, to be honest. I mean, the 37 is what it is. They won by 20. That's what it is. But Brent's best teams were not good on the road, and this is Brent's worst team. So, is it really a big shock that it went to a hostile environment? And things didn't go great. So I don't think it's a big shock there.
Read that, Chris Mason.
Yeah, I'm still here.
I know. I'm saying read that.
Oh, okay. We were just a bad matchup for Bama. Any team that can throw a ball can beat our defense. I don't know if Jay Valai is a bad coach or we just aren't good at the corner. LSU has put points on everybody pretty much other than Bama. I mean, they're the mystery team this year, kind of. Offensively, though, our defense played fine tonight if we were able to match. I mean, LSU didn't extend the lead until the second quarter. I mean, until the middle of the third quarter. If we had put a drive together and put some points up and kept us in the game, I think it would have been fine. But yeah, I mean, we have holes in our secondary. This is correct. Yeah, I mean,
there's holes in the secondary, but we know that if you were saying it a minute ago, if you get to that 17-24 area, you know that you're about running out of juice. That's all we're able to put up on offense. So you've got to do better than that. You've got to control the clock, and they didn't do that tonight.
No, I mean, they didn't do that. They couldn't. Well, I mean, when you go back and look at the ugliness of the stats, right? I mean, you go back at the box score and you see that we had two big running plays. Other those two big running plays, we were grinding for less than 3 yards a carry. We really couldn't get Xavier Robinson untracked at all. And there's no real. I mean, it's a big pass to Jacob Hester. We have no receivers and no passing game, and anybody who's willing, and and if you can exploit that and you can score points on us, and LSU's got a good pass. It's not the greatest matchup, and their tackles are good. Both Jones and Campbell, that neutralizes that pass rush a little bit.
I mean, we were winning early, man. It just I don't know.
Just we're at it. We're running on the road. We do not we're running out of gas on the road, and we're running out of gas on this season. You didn't have Woolard tonight. This defense has played so many snaps and so many possessions more than they should have because of the crap ass offense. Sorry, that we're tired. I mean, we're just tired out there. We need some better solutions, and they need to view a little bit of what they're doing at Cheetah, and we need more competition at corner, which is why on our fantasy NIL splurge draft, I was like shut down corner right after quarterback or close to it. It was D end. I went D end, quarterback, corner. We all sort of did. We know we need a shutdown corner. We've got 3 good guys coming in.
Well, let's look at this.
But let's just talk about where we were. I mean, they shut down our running game. We couldn't get any offensive consistency going in the second half. Eventually, that defense left out on the field all night is just gonna crumble. And the kickoff return, which Jason pointed out, was the backbreaker, because otherwise we go into halftime 17-7, 17 up, and I think the defense wouldn't be quite so desperate to make a big play to try and get momentum back when they see the offense struggling.
So Topher B, he jumps in here. He says, at corner, Jacoby and Eli just need to improve. Relying on Woody at the Cheetah has been tough when we all expected Dobie to be there. Just had some plays not go our way on defense, and offense looked bad. I think that really sums up this game for sure. That's a good comment. Guys, for me, I want to pick out just a couple of things that happened during this game. Obviously, the kickoff return that kind of cancels out your, strip, sack, fumble, whatever you want to call it, right? All momentum is on your side, and that kind of kills you. Second thing I want to point out is that I just feel like you have to be I want you to be aggressive, but I understand also why you're not aggressive to end the first half, simply because really what happened in Missouri about 2-3 weeks ago, right? So I think that you're a little bit hesitant with that, simply because ball security by your quarterback has been an issue, despite him being able to hold on to the rock and take some shots with this new, I guess, the new life running game that we have with the QB run. Third thing I want to point out is just the trick play.
INT,
it's an IQ. At the end of the day, it's just high IQ. Like that was a low IQ play.
Why? And why even run that shit through him? If this is what we're gonna do, this is just another example of why it is that you don't have a very good. You don't even have somebody in that room that is thinking clearly. You're running the ball well with Jackson Arnold once again, turning it into a running back. And we decide that we'd rather try to throw with Bauer Sharp than go ahead and get him a rollout or do something. Let him roll out there and find that same guy. Do something better than that. I mean, to keep going through this guy, the same guy that dropped the damn touchdown pass last weekend, now we want him to throw it. What the hell is going on? I can't stand that play. I don't understand it.
Well, I understand the play if you've got like other weapons around and you, I don't know. I'm with you. I guess I'm trying to think on multiple lines, but you just need to do basic offense stuff and grind and keep the ball and do basic stuff. Keep the ball in your hands. This team just finds way to lose, right? On the road, on the road especially, they just find ways to lose. We did this last year, finding ways to lose at Oklahoma State and Kansas. Brent's teams are just bad on the road at this point until we're good on the road, until we find a way to win road games, the Auburn game notwithstanding. I hadn't seen any sign of the last 3 years that Brent was going to go on the road and win this game at Baton Rouge. And then you factor in worst offense, worst quarterback, worst offensive line, and no wide receivers at all.
Mm-hmm.
You were hoping that you were hoping that you were going to come out and that LSU was going to forget the Bama film and just let us run all over them in the first half and put up some points.
That's what it felt like. Like you put yourself in a bubble, like you put yourself in really just a four-corner room with no door to let you out, right? Because you were just so predictable. Second half, I was really hoping and praying. And somebody in the chat, somebody on this panel, please tell me why. But why are we not just airing the ball out? Go out swinging, right? You got the pass. You connected on the pass to Hester. It kind of felt like it did the first 6 or 7 games of the season. You got to throw the ball down the field to keep that defense honest. If you want to run Jackson, you're going to have to be in better yardage situations than 3rd and 8, 3rd and 11. You can't be in that. You can't be in that against LSU, who on defense, they're not great. But tonight, they looked the part.
Well, they're at home. They're at home, too. So this is
deep pass. You hit the deep pass to Hester, and then you don't go back to it forever. Right? I mean, there has to be a rhyme or reason to what you're doing, Chris. There's got to be a rhyme or reason to what you're doing, and we haven't seen that shit all year.
Well, I mean, it's like I watched. I don't want to bring this up, but one of the guys that is in the unless I've missed it, we still haven't heard any buzz of like an OC's been announced, right, or leaked, right?
Nothing that I've heard of yet. Nothing that I've heard of yet. All you keep hearing is the guy from Washington State. That's all you keep hearing.
Okay, well, let's just say, let's just talk about the other guy who it's been rumored it might be, which is sort of maybe Buster Faulkner, the Georgia Tech guy, right? If you watch those guys watch those guys last night, and they took a team way more talented than them to the limit.
8 overtimes.
But in regulation, they had a fumble. Otherwise, they win that game. And what that guy does is he sets stuff up. Haynes King was passing the ball. They set stuff up. He does stuff to set other things up. They have a limited talent base at Georgia Tech, right? I mean, Kennard should be there, and they've lost other guys like Jahmyr Gibbs and stuff like that. So. They don't have the world's greatest talent, but they took the most talented roster in the country. As you said, 8 overtimes into the depths of it. Why? Because their offensive coordinator set stuff up.
Yeah,
they're able to run the ball, but he's also able to come throw the ball. He's also able to set stuff up. He's able to coach. He's coached up Haynes King, a much better quarterback than he ever looked at Texas A&M. So, just to say that, I watched that and I'm like, wow, he set that up from that. That's really cool. He set that up from that. We're not doing any of those things. It's it's disconnected points, disconnected plays. There's no schema or anything. Joe John it's better than the complete facade of offense and lack of cohesion, communication, and organization under Lebby. Under Luttrell. But if I'm Joe John Finley, this wasn't exactly a resume builder because you didn't do anything of the things you did last week, and you weren't prepared, even with the limited assets you had in the passing game, to set some passing things up to help your running game.
Let me jump in here real quick, guys. Topher B is on a roll tonight. He says we go away from that. We go away from stuff that does work and goes back to what LSU is expecting. Look, I hate to bring his name up, but I watched him. All right, people, when I was at OSU, I went to the OSU Baylor game, right? I've seen Lebby do it. I've seen everybody who runs the freaking veer and shoot offense do this. I've seen Gundy do it a whole bunch. When shit is not working on offense, just run slants. Run inside zone and run slants off of it too. Make the defense actually work. Make them be fundamental. Make them stop it. That's what you do. Levy last year, what did he do with Drake every freaking third down? 90% of the third downs was a Drake Stoops slant route. Let's be real. It's not rocket science. Why are we not utilizing more of that in this offense? Why are you not going back to the wide splits, different things like that? You can spread this defense out that you played tonight, but you refuse to do that. You try to come in there with the same game plan. We all love X-Rob. We all love a lot of the different running backs in there. Tonight was not the night for that. Tonight was a night where you could test this defense with the passing game for a little bit, to the point where when you get inside that 30-yard line, it was time to run the ball, be physical, do all those different things. Your offensive line, at times, they were fine. Your defensive line, your defense, they kept you in the game for as long as they could until the gas ran out. Offensively, you have to find consistency. But again, like I say, when you look at this offense, if he's running what Levy was running last year, which I don't think he is, I think Jason could correct me if I'm wrong, but if he's running a variation or anything similar to what Levy was running, why the hell is slants not being utilized in the way, or used in the way that they were last year? It's just a simple pass, simple play, simple read. If Jackson's late on it, if Jackson's throwing behind, it is what it is, but it gives you an easy out just to be able to try to move the ball and keep the defense honest and keep them going sideways.
Right there. Brett's saying it right there. What happened to our double-layered slants? Yeah, that's exactly what he's saying right here. But what happened to our double-layered slants? Only routes that we could get open and complete passes early in the season. None of that stuff is there. You're not seeing any of it. You're not seeing any of the tunnel screens. You're not seeing any of the passes out of the backfield to a receiver, to a running back. Why not? It just doesn't even make sense that you wouldn't go to something like that and try to get those guys up and then hit the damn deep ball. Because look, if you want to run the ball, I'm all for that. I think you need to be able to run the football in this league. There's no two ways around it. You need to be able to, when you get a lead or you know that you're starting to wear out a defense by leaning on them, which is what you could have done against this LSU front. They're light. They don't have a ton of guys like there. Dominic McKinley looked really good tonight. We gave him an opportunity to do so. But you have to be willing to go and you know what? If it's an interception on a deep pass on third down, who gives a shit? You're going to punt it anyway. So why not go ahead and take a shot? See what happens. And look, I get it. 6 guys out, our best 6 receivers gone. I understand that. At some point, you know what? You gotta give these guys that are freshmen and everything else a real opportunity to go out there and shine, and they're not willing to do that.
Well, you knew all week that they were going to overplay the run, right? You knew that you would have passing. You knew you needed your passing game to complete some passes to get them out of dominating the run, right? You knew that. And you came out with, and you had no response. You had no response for it. None. And I understand the receivers are down. You got Jacob Jordan, Hester, and, the Zions are about what we're down to at this point, because obviously Petaway is in some lockdown penitentiary doghouse for I don't know what, but obviously he's not playing. I mean, he's just not, right?
He's not going to be here next year for us to find out either.
No, he's not. He's not. Well, he's not going to be here. He's not going to be here a week from. On Monday. He's in the portal. I mean, let's just say what it is. Along with some other underperforming guys or guys who aren't playing on the offensive side of the ball. If you couldn't get off the bench for this game or for any other game, as you're a skill guy, then it's time to move on. Yeah, but it's just. It's and this is just a minor frustration. Why the hell do we have an injury report if Barnes isn't going to play? Right? I mean, just say he's out, right? Just say he's out. Looks like Arbuckle to Utah. I don't know what that means. If it's that story's been floating around. Jesse, do you have a better source than some random stuff that has been floating on OU podcasts? I'm talking like someone in Utah saying that. Because last I heard, it was a comment made by Brandon Drum on a podcast, and he was just talking about stuff. It was nothing official. So I need someone from Utah saying something. So
yeah, people, hit that like button, adjust that hat. Yeah, hey, you on to something right there. Go ahead. Hit that like button for all of us, people. Subscribe to all the channels too. Let's see.
I mean, we need. I mean, we're done with this season, right? Yeah. We're done with this season. We need an offense. We need the offensive coordinator name, and we need it like yesterday. Because I mean, I know, guys. There's stuff you can talk about with this game, but I'm done with the regular season 2024 Sooners. They have officially they reeled me back in last week with the Bama game, but then they just plunged me back into the depression of the Missouri game. Ergo, why the Sooner schooner, the wheel hat's gone. We're back to the dark brown hat, and emphasizing, the cloud that's over OU football. I mean, it's just, again, you knew exactly what was going on, and you did nothing to be ready for it. So, I mean, I don't know if Joe John Finley wants to be calling plays, he better be calling high schools at this point next year. Because I don't know who in the college game would hire him. What do you have to hire him?
You got to be he better.
Sooners Legend. I haven't put any of his comments up here, but Sooners Legend's been going crazy in the chat about Joe John. I mean, my God.
Yeah, he wants him to sell fishing poles at Walmart. He said. I was like, no, that was funny.
And you know what? I wouldn't buy him from him. I'd rather go out there and just find a stick in the woods. I wouldn't do that. Either way. I said, "Shut up, Jason." I'm just saying. I'm just being real, man.
It absolutely was. It was a terrible game plan. You knew what was going to happen. You knew what was going to happen, and you did nothing to be ready for it. It's not game planning. It's like I don't know what it is. I'm so done with this offensive, with the OCs on this team and the injury nonsense and the fact every time we turn around, a playmaker's out, and it's ridiculous. I'm done with this. Done with this season. Ready for the new OC. Ready for signing day. Ready for the portal. And whatever shit ass bowl we're going to and shitty opponent we get to play.
I have a topic that guy. First off, Jason, go ahead, read the super chat.
Hey, Jason. Hey, everyone. Thank you, Neilio. It's our boy from KC Mo. We appreciate him. He's always taking care of us in here. Rough day. All
right. So, people, this is I'm gonna try to get this out a little bit under the weather, but I'm trying to get this out because this is something I was thinking about over this Thanksgiving break. Some people, and I don't see my boy in here, Stevie G. If you in here, bro, listen, I love you, but I have to do it. Some people kind of think that Jackson Arnold should be back next year. Some people think that. Look, I'm just gonna say this right here. My friend Ty Hayes, who was on the show, he said, "Hey, two truths can exist at the same time," and I'll say this right here. Seth Luttrell did a poor job. Never tried to give Jackson Arnold a true chance. That's my firm belief, people. But at the same time, if you're going to be the starter, if you're going to be the guy, you have to show progression. He's shown progression with his legs, maybe reading defense just a little bit, but there's no consistency. People, everything that I've heard is that Seth Luttrell tried to truly marry his offense with Levy's offense, but never had any belief in Jackson Arnold. So, thing I'm telling you right now is that I don't think Jackson Arnold should be back next year. Why? Because this was an experimental year. Why do I say that? because BV sacrificed, in my opinion, he sacrificed the betterment of this team for Jackson Arnold to try to run systems or whatever the case may be that were going to be really conducive to him. And that's what you're supposed to do if you believe he's the quarterback of the future. However, he showed you through the first 4 games of the season that is not him, right?
He's not the guy, man. He's not the guy.
He showed you guys. I do not think that we can win or be where we want to be with Jackson Arnold doing what he's doing. I do not want to, and that's the scariest thought about hiring a guy like Faulkner from down there at Georgia Tech. Do we turn into that team with if Jackson Arnold were to stay with a guy like that? Like it bothers me that some people think that Jackson should stay. Look, I wish the best of luck to the kid. I hope he goes out there and kills it wherever he goes. But I just think that we all need to move on. I think he needs to move on to a better situation for him, whatever that is. I just don't think he gets it done here at OU. That's just my opinion.
And I mean, and Trap's right. Jackson's tough as all outdoors, but you can't win like that. Look, you've got to have a guy that doesn't lose his mind when everything breaks down a little bit. You got to have a guy that actually, when you start getting breakdowns and stuff, the good quarterbacks that we've had at Oklahoma, they excel under pressure. They excel when they get pushed out of the pocket. They excel whenever things aren't going well. They turn it up a notch. This guy doesn't do that. And I'm not sitting here trying to kill Jackson Arnold. I think a lot of things have happened that have conspired to make him the way he is. But he doesn't respond in the way that you need a quarterback at Oklahoma to respond, especially in the SEC, guys. There's no way. There's no way he's the one. We just pulled
You could hope. Like Crossland's got a good point, right? Okay, sure. You know, we'd like to see JA with a complement of receivers and a good, sure. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that, but I'm not betting my job on it if I'm Brent Venables. And you can't bet your job. And the fact of the matter is, OU needs to spend money in the portal on a proven quarterback.
Somebody that has some moxie, somebody that isn't afraid.
Just a proven executor at the quarterback position. You can't, you're not, and you're about to tell Jackson Arnold if he wants to stay, he's getting a pay cut.
He can't. He doesn't. First off, that's the other thing. I don't even know why we continue talking about it, because the simple fact is that dude was leaving after the Tennessee debacle. He was gone when they pulled him out.
Yeah, that could have. There's a world you could have. There's a world you could have salvaged that, Jason. But that's not this world that we've seen this fall, right? It's just not. That it's OU. Brent needs to save his freaking job, and to do that, he needs a new quarterback from the portal. He cannot trust anything about hopes and dreams of what Jackson Arnold could do next year with X. Can't. We need a proven guy. Let Mike Hawkins fight with that guy all spring.
Yep.
And go from there. But but you're not, Jackson's not staying because, the first conversation is going to be, hey, Michael Hawkins is going to stay around, play at least 1 year with his brother Malik.
Yep.
And compete for the job, and compete for the job with a real OC and a real offensive scheme. He wants to play 1 year with his brother. His brother's all set to sign with OU on Wednesday. So Mike's probably staying around because he has even less of a resume than Jackson. I mean, his last resume is the South Carolina game. So, he needs to rehab. He needs to stay at OU, rehab, get better. Get on the field, compete with the other quarterback, and go from there. But Jackson, you're not going to whatever Jackson's NIL salary cap number is, all that money's going to a transfer portal quarterback.
Absolutely.
And you're not paying him and Jackson to come back next year just because you want to give Jackson a chance. If Jackson wants to walk on next year at OU, fine, do it. But other than that, you don't have this. They want to sign a high school quarterback in this class. They have Zerbrug, who's redshirted. There's no reason to run him off while he's developing. And you've got Hawkins. We don't need 5 scholarship quarterbacks on the roster. So that's, you sign a high school guy, Zerbrug, Hawkins, and the portal guy. That's 4.
Yep. Bishop Frank, thank you for renewing your membership there. Appreciate that. His free message. Barbershop Barbecue Cookout fam. He's talking about the gumbo, man. I don't know. We're just talking it up. But look, there's no way. Look, Hawkins is coming back. Hawkins is coming back. We've already heard that. And I'm telling you that I haven't heard one single thing that makes me believe, and whether it came from Brent Venables or not, I haven't heard a single thing that makes me think that JFA is coming back. And the F in JFA doesn't always, it's not always a good F. Sometimes it's a bad one. So just so we're there with that too, just so you understand why I said that, guys. Hawkins needs to stay and battle with whoever it is, but they have to go find somebody in the portal. There's no two ways around it. They've got to go find somebody that can ball out. If it's Arbuckle bringing Mateer with him, great. I'd like it if it was Craddock. He's more of a pro style type offense, and he would probably bring a quarterback with him too that I think might be a little better. But what I do know, both of those guys are dogs. They're not afraid to go out there and battle it out. And they're not afraid that when the offensive line breaks down or the play breaks down, that they can still go out there and make a play, which is what you saw even after the big hit from R. Mason tonight. You still saw that from Garrett Nussmeier. He wasn't afraid to come in here and still mix it up. Hell, the dude walks out of the locker room and hits a fucking bomb from the tunnel. This is a guy we're talking about. These guys weren't afraid to go and do that. Makes me sick to death, man. It really does.
I say, Brett Cogburn, he says, y'all may well be right that JA isn't good enough, but what QB could we have had this year that could have performed behind our O-line and with our offense and lack of wide receivers? Well, I would point you towards the first 3 games of the season against Houston, against Tulane, and against Temple. Temple was probably the best out of the 3, but you look especially at the Tulane game when it kind of got down to the nitty-gritty. You should have won that game by more than you did, but you're making bonehead decisions at the beginning. You can say, oh, well, he's a redshirt freshman, he hasn't played, but it's just it was simple stuff that he wasn't connecting on. Well, there's guys that are running down the field that are wide open, but he's not finding them. He's not seeing the field. I'll bring up Ty's now. I talked to Ty early in the season, and I asked him, I said, what's wrong with a guy like Jackson Arnold? Why hasn't it clicked for him? He said, to be honest with you, there's no difference between him and Ty Simpson right now at Alabama. They're one-read quarterbacks. That's all they've ever known from high school till now. They're one-read quarterbacks. If the read isn't there, they take off, they do what they do, and that's great. And he has a lot of talent. He has a lot of potential. Maybe he has the most potential in the room. Problem is, I just don't see that happening here. Even if you get him a QB coach, the problem is that we've already seen Michael Hawkins, and if he could get a year of development himself or just get a QB coach himself, what is that going to do? God forbid we go out there and hire somebody like Brendan Marion. He would never play. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. Jackson Arnold would never play. Jackson Arnold's best opportunity to me, go to Notre Dame. If Raleigh Leonard has another year of eligibility or whatever the case may be, go out there, sit, red shirt, hide out.
Yeah, he's not making the plays Riley Leonard's making. I watched that game today, but I mean, you're right. That's probably his best solution is to go somewhere in a run centric offense where he's not asked to do.
That's not what even I know. We all of a sudden think Jackson Arnold's a runner. He's not a fucking runner.
Yeah. Well, he is. He can.
Oh my God!
I'm just saying he's not a passer though.
Here is the underrated comment of the stream right here. I didn't want to be a bitch about it. I didn't want to cry about it. It was a lot of holding out there.
I thought they called holding in the SEC, right? That's what we were told.
Yeah.
I watched that Georgia Tech game last night. And they weren't calling holding on Georgia at all game long. I mean, it was terrible. We got held again tonight. Bama was holding us. So apparently they do. Apparently it's just like the Big 12. You don't get holding calls. You don't get holding calls on big passing plays in the SEC either. Okay, all right. We were told it was different here, but apparently it's not.
The SEC officials are the worst in the fucking country, though. We should just expect that.
Yeah, again, talking Arnold is just it's like spinning. Brent can't rely on him.
That's the thing. Brent's going to be in trouble next year if he's going to if you're Brent Venables, I think he might actually, but would you gamble your fucking career at Oklahoma on Jackson Arnold after what you saw this year? Because
no way in hell. I'm not betting it on Michael Hawkins either. I need a proven quarterback to get me back to 8-4, and to get me until Jaden O'Neal enrolls. Levy's left us with an island of misfit quarterback toys. They fit his system, but they apparently can't do anything else. And they can't even run his system, apparently, without him.
No.
So the benefit of this right here, whatever crappy bowl we go to, whatever the case may be, 15 extra practices, that doesn't hurt.
No.
I'll be honest with you. I don't even know if I don't even know really at this point. Yeah, you want Deion Burks and all them to play, but at this point, I think you just kind of shut it down and go ahead.
Deion Burks isn't playing.
Yeah, I think you just try to at least just see, hey, are you guys coming back? What's going on? That way everybody can start figuring out. I think a lot of things need to happen in these next couple of weeks. So that'll kind of be one of the last questions that we ask on this stream. What in the next coming, let's say the next 2 weeks, what all do you want to see, right? Outside of obviously, don't mention the recruiting class staying intact for Susie, all the rest of that stuff. And obviously the OC hire, we know that. But if you want to name a guy, that's perfectly fine. But for the chat and for the panel, Jason, we'll go with you first, but we'll ask in the next 2 weeks, what decisions do you want to see be made on and off the field?
Oh, I think they have to. The first thing is to announce who this guy is. Find out whoever the new dude is, and you have to make sure that you know that you got the right direction going, no matter what. You've got to try to salvage as much of this, not just the class, I think, but obviously the guys in the locker room that you think that are still salvageable, right? So you have to have. Even if he's a guy like, I'll go back to this. I don't believe that Will Stein is an option at this point. But even if it was a guy like that you were able to say, okay, yeah, we've got him hired. It's just going to be after the playoff or whatever is fine. But you have to have shown a plan. I think probably by Monday you need to, I think they need to get this done. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But in the end, for sure, by the time the portal opens up, you've got to make sure that, hey, this is already done and over with. We've already got our guy, and he's already making phone calls, and they've got a direction that they can head in, because otherwise, what are you going to do? Right? Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. It wouldn't bother me. That wouldn't bother me either, Mac. That would not bother me either. That in the end, look, bottom line is this was a tough year. This is a tough schedule, but you got to go out there and have some kind of game plan, and they just haven't had that, right? They just haven't had that. So I don't know what else to really say other than that. You've got to go out there with a competent game plan. We haven't seen that all year except for one fucking night. One night. So whether or not if I thought Jackson Arnold was good enough to move forward with, we wouldn't know that because we haven't seen him put in good positions anyway. But I know I've watched him be a turnover machine too. At some point, you got to go with what your eyes are telling you, and that's that he ain't the dude. That he ain't the dude. And if you're crazy enough to believe that Brent Venables should just stick with the guy, then fine. Yeah, this other one, DeMarco. Yeah, look, as far as DeMarco Murray's concerned, I wouldn't mind if he was out the door as well. You know, you can go ahead and send him along with the coordinators that you brought in, because I don't understand. You know, we haven't even brought this up, but Sam gets in all of a sudden tonight and has one of the longest runs from scrimmage of the whole season for an Oklahoma running back.
It's a Russian roulette. It's a Russian roulette with the running back room.
Right. Well, and I mean, to me, it was a fireable offense just using him in 2 games, not giving him the football, 2 plays at the end of games that didn't even matter. And they had to use his red shirt. He could have still done everything that he's done. X could have done everything that he's done at the end of the season and still have the red shirt to where he's coming back as a freshman next year. It was a complete ridiculousness on the part of DeMarco Murray. I don't know why he's still in charge of that running back room, because they're not developing.
How can you say? I'm sorry. How can you say that when Rob, according to everything we were told, is not ready September 1, and then he's ready to play in the middle of he's ready to play in November? Who's coaching him?
I think that he was, from everything that we've heard, he was getting up early and going in and working with Schmitty, and he was
on his physique. But who's coaching him?
On the scout team is what I don't know. I can tell you that. Look, okay, fine. You want to give him X-Rob? Sure. You want to give that he developed X-Rob or whatever? Okay. But how did he miss? If you really believe that, then why wasn't he playing more instead of just sticking him in the last 2 damn plays of a game that you were losing big in? What makes sense about that?
I don't have an answer for that. I'm just saying that there are malfeasance going on offense. It starts with Luttrell.
Sure.
Joe John Finley is your next suspect, whatever the hell's going on at tight end the last 3 years. But I'm a recruiting guy, so I'm just telling you, DeMarco pushed for D-Rob. He pushed for Torrey Blaylock as the number 1, as the running back he wanted to take out of Texas. That guy just put up 5 TDs. He got pushed for Jonathan Hutton, who's the best running back in Texas next year. And Gray and Ramondre all sing his praises, as did the Kennedy Brooks. So
okay.
To me, if you want to fire Mark DeMarco, I'm fine with all of the offensive guys kind of taking a walk, other than Bill and Emmett Jones. So if you want to have DeMarco take a walk, that's fine. But let's not put him in the recruiting failure bucket of Joe John Finley. His offenses are extremely less. I mean, the problem is he learned managing the running back position from Cale Gundy. And Cale Gundy did the same damn thing, guys.
Managing and recruiting, managing the room and recruiting are 2 different damn things, though. You know that. And he's not doing a good job managing it. How the hell do you let Tawee get the hell out of here? And he's gone and blown up there in Wisconsin.
Did he blow up? Did he blow up this week?
I don't know what he did this week. I can tell you he already had over 10 freaking touchdowns, and 9 of them came in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, they played shitty opponents, and Wisconsin did well. Wisconsin's offense sucks, and Tyree wasn't making that better, and Tyree isn't making the OU offense better. None of the running backs can do jack without a consistent scheme. We've seen that all year long. Every one of them has struggled because they don't have a scheme that sets them up to succeed.
I was off camera. I was just trying to get some popcorn. This is good TV right here, fellas. You know.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying. Look, Joe John Finley can't recruit or develop his position, right?
We know that.
Okay,
we know that.
Seth Luttrell completely deep-sixed our entire year, our entire offseason. Fine.
Nobody's
all right.
Nobody's arguing that with you. Why?
Okay, all right. But I'm just saying that DeMarco recruits his position like a madman. He does. Okay. Is Taylor Tatum and X-Rob, did they look like elite running backs?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, well, he recruited them, right?
Yeah.
They signed here to play for him. So the roulette thing at running back, he learned from the best, Cale Gundy. Trust me, if you're a Sooner fan, you were screaming for DeMarco Murray to start over Alan Patrick or for games for weeks. This is he learned. Why did we not see more Joe Mixon his first season? Exactly. Okay, I mean, if you don't, what are we defining as elite running back? What are we defining as produced? Are you not giving him credit for Ramondre Stevenson? Because Ramondre says that. Kennedy Brooks says that. Eric Gray says that. That's 3 running backs who, if we had a real offense, would have rushed for 1,200 yards this year. Okay? Last year, injuries and whatever was going on with Barnes and Sawchuk with injuries derailed the running back room. That's what I believe. You guys can argue with me. That's what I believe. This year, no one has any chance of doing anything.
Last year, it wasn't just that. It was that he continued to not have a very good rotation. He didn't. How do you go from Sawchuk to Javonte, 45-yard run, then you go to Javonte, who hadn't been on the field in a month, who said he was hurt the entire year, and you have a direct snap to him that he didn't want the ball. He treated it like a hot potato. Don't tell me that he's done everything right, because we know.
No, I'm not saying he's done everything right. I'm not saying he's done. I'm just saying his lists of crimes and offenses are far less than the other guys that we want to kick to the curb. You want to kick him to the curb? That's fine. You tell me who's.
We have to kick him to the curb. I'm saying nobody in the offensive side, aside from maybe, and I say maybe EJ and Bill Beatonbow, are safe to me.
Okay. You tell me that anybody on the offensive side of the ball, EJ, Bill, and DeMarco, were able to make anything out of the mess that they've been handed this year all year long.
Well,
I mean, it's am I wrong? I mean, how in the world tonight the running backs are set up to fail, right?
Yeah, it was a bad game plan.
I mean, and obviously, DeMarco, again, you put in Sam Franklin. Okay. All right. Maybe that was just, I don't know why he put him in there. I'd love to hear an interview. I think one of the other things Brent's got to do is he's got to stop shielding the assistants from questions, right? We got to start getting these guys answering questions during the season again. That blocking them from answering question stuff is bullshit.
Okay.
I mean, I'd love to hear DeMarco's explanation for what you just said. You're right. It makes no sense. Why did you go back to Caleb Hicks? Obviously, guys, if someone with that much talent is not playing,
exactly,
it's obviously something off the field, guys. They're not doing something at practice, or they're not doing something they need to do for Brent to allow them on the field. It's pure and simple. It's just that's just the case, right? That's what's going on. That's why he'll be in the transfer portal, and maybe he'll be successful.
No doubt.
Maybe he'll be successful somewhere else at some place that doesn't hold him to a standard that Brent is holding him to a standard to, or whatever. I don't know. Or he'll fix whatever's fixed. He just needs a change of environment or change his pace or whatever. I don't know. But most of the guys who leave us don't go on to be superstars somewhere else. Right? I mean, Savion Byrd is not an old ACC offensive lineman, right?
No, he's not.
The Anderson kid is not an old ACC offensive lineman, right?
No.
Not that I've heard. So, I mean.
No, he isn't. He's not.
I'm just saying, for the most part, I mean, Theo Weiss's brief starring moments at Missouri is maybe the biggest guy who's gone somewhere else and done anything.
Dude. He's a second-tier guy as well. So
I'm just saying that, it's we're not.
Five-star that became a number 2.
Right. I mean, it's like, Kevin Sperry has just decommitted to go to FSU to be putting Gus Malzahn's system, which he does not fit at all. I mean, Sperry can't run that offense. So good job, Kevin. You dumb-toe you to move to an offense that you really can't play in because you're not 6'4", 230 pounds and can't run the ball 20 times a game. So, I mean, that's where we are. That's where we are. I mean, again, I should have just ended my weekend Friday night reading about Elijah Thomas having 250 yards receiving, Jaden O'Neal throwing for 4 bills and 7 touchdowns, and Torrey Blaylock scoring 5 touchdowns in the Texas quarterfinal playoffs. Should have just ended at that. Should have just ended the day reading that. So, and enjoyed Michigan trying to plant a flag in the middle of AstroTurf and leading to a pepper spray riot at Ohio State Stadium. But it's just this team and this season has just been frustrating, guys. And I run a recruiting pod, and I've had 8 weeks of like no recruiting news, anything other than something bad. So it is. Maybe I'm just jaded and angry and frustrated over that. So that's my final. That's my final. I mean, you can't proceed with Jackson. You need to save your job. You need a real quarterback, and you can't rely upon Jackson Arnold somehow turning into that guy. Let someone else figure that problem out. And if they do, great. Happy for Jackson. Happy for whatever happens on. But OU cannot take that risk. We just can't.
No, you can't.
Jason, I know that you need to get going, but go ahead, give us your last word, man. We're about to close it out.
Look, I want to see them make the right hire here, because I think it's clear that as much as we can sit here, we're going to sit here and just kill on the offense, and honestly tonight the defense wasn't great either. I think that there's a reason for that. You get them worn out at some point, but I do believe that if you can put a competent offense on the field a year from now, you come back next fall and you're able to put just a top 30, top 35 offense on the field, then with this defense, you should be able to go out there and win the majority of your games. You should be able to actually go out there and compete for a playoff position next year. They were in every game, folks. At some point, they were in every game. The South Carolina game was out of hand very quickly because you had 3 interceptions and 2 of them turned into touchdowns, or the fumble was another one that turned into a touchdown. So they were down 21-0 in 5 minutes. I get it. Aside from that, though, they outplayed that offense the rest of the way. And the defense continued to shut them down. You're not running against this football team very often. We've seen a few times that it's happened, and it's usually later on in the game that it starts getting going. In the end, with me, if you just can put a competent offense out there with them next year, this is a team that's going to compete week in and week out. I can't sit here and just forget about what I saw a week ago when they played Alabama. I can't do it. They went out there. They had a great game plan. Look, you get under center a little bit on the offensive side. You run the ball. You timely passing. I don't know why you don't just stick with that this week and see what kind of comes off of it. But in the end, if you have those games where you can go out there and put together a solid game plan, and then it obviously tells you that they do have the ability to do that stuff. They do have the ability to do it. Yeah, we're going to be on here in about 10 minutes on my show as well. We're going to be talking about some other stuff aside from Oklahoma football, but we will be talking OU as well. Look, guys, I hate to sit here and just be dogging on Jackson Arnold or DeMarco or anybody. I'm not trying to do it. I do know one thing for sure is you're not going to do it with just an offense or just a defense. You're not going to do it with just one. You got to have both. Right now, it looks like we've traded one for the other. You got to have both. That's all there is to it. Thanks for having me, man. You guys, you know where to find me on the other channel, or you may be watching it on my channel right now as it is.
All right, Jason, we'll holler at you, my guy.
Appreciate you.
Chris Mason, what you got to say?
I got to say, thank God Wednesday is signing day. We can turn the page on this season. We can talk about a new offensive coordinator. We can talk about who OU isn't getting and not getting in the portal. We can complain left and right about who's leaving OU and going to the portal. I'm just glad that this season is over. Play all the young kids in the bowl game. Play Michael Hawkins at quarterback in the bowl game. Move on and, play whatever shitty-ass bowl game we're going to be in, whatever that is, the Frisco Bowl, the Memphis Bowl, the Shreveport Bowl, whatever we're getting into, and just move on. I'm done. The 2024 Sooners have maxed out my patience. I'm ready for them. I'm ready to turn the page onto the 2025 Sooners, starting with the bowl game.
Bittersweet into the season. 6-6, and not picture us going that route. Did not see us here yet again.
It's a big 4 weeks in December. This is the biggest 4 weeks of Brent's career, right?
This is it. But again, man, it's just a bittersweet ending. We'll end on a high note. Like I said, 15 practices for the freshmen, guys that you're going to be counting on. It's going to help guys like Eli out a lot. Hopefully, you can get Kearney, get some of those guys on the field more. You could try to open this offense up. I'm hoping that we face Iowa or somebody like that wants to, run the ball particularly. But regardless, though, I'm excited about that.
Freaking Zion Kearney got hurt tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, is there some witch literally cursing our wide receiver room? It's beyond all rational thought. Sorry, go back, Chris.
That's a part of it as well. But as Chris Mason has said, as Jason has alluded to as well, I'm ready for 2025, people. That's kind of where my mind is at. This game right here left a sour taste. And I think a lot of our mouths were just not happy with this game, especially after the performance that you had the last game. I thought you would take that tape and be able to build upon that by giving them those same looks, but being able to run offense off of that. You get what I'm saying? Just did not happen. Did not go the way. You finished 500. I don't believe with the talent that you have on this team, you're a 500 ball club. I don't believe with the coaching staff that you have that you're a 500 ball club, but you got to figure some things out. Got to make the right OC hire. Seeing guys like Chip Kelly take a step down and go and take an OC job at Ohio State, regardless of what you want to say, Will Howard is there. Seeing Gus Malzahn take a step down and go to Florida State as well. I think people need to, this hire has to be a home run, because some of those, even though some people may say Gus Malzahn is not a good fit there, I still say Gus Malzahn knows offense. He's a good coach. So it's just one of those things where you kind of compare and contrast, and you just say, look, it's only up from here. That's what I'm hoping. So with that being said, people, Jason needs to go. We're going to be out, talk a little bit. We'll be back sometime soon, maybe tomorrow.